Listen in today if you want to get back to basics. You need a quick reset on your mindset, you want some practical strategies for handling your money, and you need to transform your debt or investment. Let's get started. The Happy Money Journey team want to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today. I'd also like to pay my respects to elders past and present. I'm Phoebe Blamey, and I'd like to welcome you to your own Happy Money Journey, Australia's leading money podcast for midlife women. Here is where your story changes. I've got practical tools, smart strategies, and a community of women who are rewriting what wealth looks like in midlife. So whether you're dealing with debt, building a business, or finally just putting yourself first, you belong here. Welcome to your next chapter. Today's episode is sponsored by Entourage Finance and Property. Entourage is a finance and property advisory business whose mission it is to help Australians grow their wealth through property. With services including home loan lending, buyers and vendors advocacy, and car finance, Entourage supports Australians in achieving their home ownership dreams. Everything we talk about is general in nature. Specific advice to you can only be given by a finance professional. So if you need someone, reach out. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about 3 small, powerful shifts that move you closer to real, long-lasting financial freedom. No gimmicks, no perfection, just progress. Because here is the truth. There are things that we all need to fix when it comes to money. And that whole idea of doing it right all the time, chuck it out. It's exhausting. It's never going to happen. It is a lie. Today we're going to talk about 3 things. We're going to talk about healing by busting the money myths and breaking the rules. We're going to learn. We're going to know what's coming in, what's going out, and what's left. And then we're going to talk about transforming, using that what's left bit to level up, to change our actual lives. This is a quick and dirty, get on top of your money, do it today, solution to the feeling of overwhelm and failure and shame that comes so often with our money. So let's start by talking about busting the money myths and breaking the rules. We have all got money stories. You've got them, I've got them, everyone's got them. We've got the voice in our head that says, I'm just bad with money. And that is not your truth. That is just conditioning. We have been told for eons that rich people are greedy, that women are no good with money, that there's not going to be enough money, that what you spend now matters so much that it makes money feel finite. But money's not finite. You know what that actually is? That is the patriarchy doing its greatest hits album. And I'm done with it. I am done with knowing that we get advertised too differently about money, that we get told that we are spenders and we're out of control and all of those things, that when the same behaviours are spoken about in men as being risk takers and in charge and leaders. I was talking to a client the other day, massive high income earner, runs her own business and has this deep and constant fear that the money's just going to disappear. Her mum grew up as a post-war, constantly worried about not having enough. And that fear, that money story gets passed down. It is like eye colour. It is just something that is intrinsic in your DNA. And we have to heal those stories. Of course we do. But let's do it as a quick fix today instead of doing it as something that's going to take a whole lot of time, effort and energy. Don't ignore it. Just rewrite it. Bust the myths. You can journal them. You can say them out loud. You can call the bullshit. You can't heal it if you don't acknowledge it. But you are not broken. Everyone has something. Everyone has some sort of inherited story. What we've got to do is start recognizing that we've been conditioned and start remembering that money is not a static number in a bank account. It's a flow. It will come, it will go, it will come again. And when we start thinking of money in terms of that flow, of that energy, then when we start feeling that scarcity, that lack, that it's not enough, that I'm no good with money, and we start telling ourselves that story, we can stop it. We can just stop it. It's a flow. Money will come, money will go, money will come back again. Money in constant flow makes sense because money is the energy that fuels the life that you want. It is not a static number. It is not something that we are chasing to get some idea of perfection. It is our progress, and it is the way that we look at it that makes the big, big, big difference in how we treat it. So if we treat it like something that's going to be in flow, then we feel brave about spending. We're not scared every time we spend money that that's going to be the end of our money. We know it's coming back. We know it's going to come back to us. And that is so healing. That is one of the things that I find just so amazingly healing, is thinking of it as flow and energy instead of thinking of it as the static numbers that are going down, 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 and then up, then down, down, down. Doesn't matter if it goes down. There's plenty more out there, and it's heading towards you. Then let's get a bit practical. We need to learn about our money. We need to know what's coming in, what's going out, and what's left. And I'm inspired to do this because I've been working on a money talk that I'm doing for a group called She's the Boss that is all about getting onto your happy money journey in your business. But we can apply those same rules pretty much to our personal expenses as well. We need a system. We need for money to be the thing that we do maybe once a week, and otherwise it's set and forget. And I see it all the time. I see these amazing, smart, beautiful women earning great money and having absolute behind-the-scenes chaos because their money just vanishes. They spend too much, they earn a lot, things get messy, and all of a sudden they're out of where they think they should be. They're not bringing in the wealth and creating more wealth from it. It is spending, spending, spending. So let's talk about a simple structure. We teach backwards budgeting. You can jump onto the YouTube and you can have a look at the backwards budgeting videos that we've done. You can read the book, but that is what we're all about. We are looking at the money that you've already spent, where you spent it, how you spent it, and where are some of the leaks that you can start plugging straight away. Build your money plan around what you're already doing. Don't try and change your life overnight. These are small steps that make such a big difference. So think of it in terms of business. Revenue minus costs equal your profit. And that can apply at home as well. We set up one account that is our fortress account. That is where we put all our direct debits, all the things that need to come out, subscriptions, anything like that, even gym memberships, anything that is a regular and constant repayment that is something that is bringing us joy. Now, while we're going through those things, cut out the things that you haven't used for over a month. Just cut them out. I do it all the time. I'm constantly going back over streaming services, gym memberships, anything that I haven't used, it's gone. That is what goes into your Fortress account. Recheck on your Telstra, on your telephone bills, on your electricity, recheck them. But even if you don't have the mental energy or capacity to do that at the moment, just setting up this one account that has all your direct debits coming out of and putting enough money into it to cover them, you're done. Then have your spending account. Your spending account is your joy and it's your living. It's your grocery shopping, clothes shopping, haircuts, all of those things that just come up. And then look at how you've spent, look at what you've spent on, plug the leaks, start looking at the overspending at Kmart, the takeaway food, the things that you're doing that are for so-called convenience but don't bring you joy. How many memories have you created around Uber Eats? I'm asking you. But how many memories have you created with fish and chips down at the beach? I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying don't do it for convenience. Don't get fooled into that convenience trap. Same with fast fashion, any of those things that are set up to be something that makes our life easier, but actually just drains our bank account. Let's stop draining our bank account. And then look at how much you earn. What are you actually bringing in? Is it enough to cover those living expenses? Are there things that you actually need to cut out? Because where we want to get to is revenue in, costs out, something has to be left over. And that leftover money you start using for yourself. You can create a cash cushion. So a $200 to $500 that just sits in that fortress account and waits for something to go wrong. It is when you suddenly get registration and insurance in the same week. It's when you suddenly need new tires. A lot happens around cars, doesn't it? Any of those small unexpected expenses. I've got to fix something with my neighbour because we've got a shared wall and that's going to cost me $600 next week. There goes my cash cushion. It's gone. It'll come back again. I'll repurpose some money and I'll make sure that I make that cash cushion rise up again to that $500, $600 that I need to have aside for those things. So that when we get a surprise, but it's a surprise that we could potentially be expecting, we're not running around searching for the money. We're not feeling like a failure because we don't have it, because we have set it aside for us already. Make sure you've got a couple of $100 sitting there waiting to be spent, and top it up every so often. Then start looking at your emergency fund. Have you got enough money for 2 weeks? Then build it up to 4 weeks, then build it up to 6 weeks, then build it up to 8 weeks, and build yourself an emergency fund so that when an emergency happens, and an emergency will happen, you'll lose a job. I had a friend whose house caught fire. All sorts of awful things can happen in our life when we just need that emergency fund. It's very good to have because a woman with money is a very, very powerful thing. You can spend your emergency fund on emergencies only and true emergencies. I can't stand this job anymore. I have to leave emergencies. I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. I have to leave. That is your get out of jail free money. So build it up slowly, but build it up. Clients also ring. They've got car registration insurance due in the same week, feeling like they're back to zero, but they're not back to zero. They're not back to zero at all. What's happened is that they've had to use their cash cushion, but that's what their cash cushion is for. They're not using their emergency fund. They're not jumping into things that they don't want to jump into. That money is for that thing. So it's just a matter of setting yourself up so that you know that you've got money now, you've got a tiny bit put away for the future, and you're starting to put away for an emergency. So fortress account, spending account, know your income, have a cash cushion, start building your emergency fund. Rework your bills and don't even take Uber Eats or any convenience things off your phone. Do the things that actually support your real life. Cook at home. Have leftovers for lunch. Do things that are actually going to support you so that when you do takeaway or you have that Uber Eats once a month, it's a treat. It's fun. It's something that's bringing you a little bit of joy. It's not just there for convenience because memories are not made when we do things by convenience. And then finally, we look at what's left. We've built up our emergency fund. We've got our cash cushion. And this is where our freedom starts to happen. So even if you've only got $50 a week left, this is the time to transform your money story. This is using what's left to level up. Take that $50 and put it towards extra payments on a debt. Take $10 of it and put it into your super a month. If you've got anything spare, start looking at different types of investments and build yourself up. Slowly, but start. Because if you don't start, you'll never get there. And it may seem overwhelming at first, but if you want to be debt-free, if you want to have money when you retire, if you want to start investing over savings, then you can do that with the smallest amount of money. So $50 left over, start building. Start building your super. Start reducing your debts. We've got all sorts of programs and all sorts of ways of helping you do that. But just for now, think of it as tiny, consistent moves. Doing some things better, but not doing everything perfectly, because this is your actual real life. It is so important to have that emergency fund. It's so important to have that cash cushion. So build those first start putting a little bit extra towards your debt. Start reducing your debt. You start reducing your debt, you've got more money left over at the end of the month. Debts are finite. Debts are a certain amount of time, and if you need more time, if you need to reduce repayments, renegotiate interest rates, renegotiate the time of the debt. Make sure that you're not paying compounding interest on a credit card. You can switch. I know that a lot of the credit card companies are offering at the moment to just switch to something that you can pay off where the interest doesn't compound. Have a look at how you have designed your debt at the moment and see what you can do to change it. One of my clients, Liz, built up her emergency fund. Then she started paying down her debt. And she started paying down her debt quite slowly at first, but she started getting her dopamine hits out of doing it. She started really enjoying it. And she started ringing me and saying, oh, I've just paid off this much of this. And we had a little trick. As she was paying off the debt, she'd lower the limit of the credit card. She'd lower the limit and lower the limit and lower the limit until she had practically zero there. And it worked. It worked so well. And 6 months later, no word of a lie, she was debt-free on her messy credit cards, afterpays and all of that sort of stuff. And I think she'd started off with about $20,000 worth of that stuff. And it just went. And it just went from her working really hard to get rid of it. But before she started to do that, she'd built up her cash cushion. She had her emergency fund. She was ready, because if you don't have those things done, it is very hard then. It's really hard to get into the habit of paying off the debt. The debt will stay there because you'll go and reuse it when you have those emergencies or when you need that little cash cushion. So make sure you know where your money's going, how much is coming in, how much is going out, and then use what's left to level up. Level up is paying off debt and investing. Think of it as the last little thing you do on your money journey. So we've got our mindset sorted out so that we're thinking in terms of money being flow. We've done some really small tweaks to our bank accounts so that our direct debits come out of one account and everything else comes out of another account. If you're in a couple, you can put in a third account for shared expenses, but have some money for yourself that is just yours. Build up a little cash cushion, build up your emergency fund, which is slightly bigger. And then with what's left, start paying off debt and investing in your future, adding a little bit to super. And then we can start, once you've got to a certain point, then we can start to get complicated. Then we can start to make it hard. But just for now, financial freedom is knowing how much you're earning, where it's going, and feeling good enough about your money and the fact that money's in flow to be able to spend it with confidence, knowing that more is coming back. And then we'll make some small moves to getting rid of our debt and building up our future. That is the simplest way to get to financial freedom. And you've got to have faith that you can do it. So forget faking it until you make it. We've got to faith it until we make it. You've got to faith that your money life is changing. Faith it that you're doing enough. Have faith in the small steps that you take today are building your financial freedom, because as soon as you start doing this, the second you start doing this, you have discovered financial freedom. It's not about never making mistakes. It's about knowing that you've got the backup to recover when you do. And if you are struggling, if you are really finding this stuff hard, jump into the 30-day spend cleanse. It's simple, it's easy, it's got very small, practical daily habits to start reducing your debt, getting your finances under control, and most of all, getting your mindset in the right place. Use the code THRIVE25 for 25% off, because small moves deserve a reward. It is amazing that you are here today. Thank you so much. Do the work. You're not behind. You are just getting started. And most of all, until I see you next week, enjoy your journey. Thanks for listening to my happy money journey today. If something clicked for you, share it with a friend who's also navigating life's glorious midlife chaos. And don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, or comment on any of our socials. We'd love to hear from you. And when you're ready to go deeper, head to phoebeblamey.com.au for courses, freebies, and more money magic. Remember, you're not too late, you're just getting started, and it's all about enjoying the journey.
Thanks again to Entourage Finance and Property for sponsoring today's podcast. You can find out more about what Entourage can do for you at entourage.com.au.
The information shared on my happy money journey is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal or professional advice. While I am a financial educator, the advice given may not be suitable for your individual circumstances. Always consult with a qualified financial professional before making any significant financial decisions. The views expressed are my own and do not necessarily reflect those of any associated organisation. Listener discretion is advised.